Good morning.
Welcome to the Movieclips Monday morning review with the side of spoilers.
Yes.
So, we're going to kick this one off with our review of Thor.
The Dark World.
And, Phase 2 Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, post-Avengers, it's getting quite darker. I think it's safe to say, hence the title.
You know what? I gotta say, all things considered, I think that this movie is one of the most important Marvel movies if you are a fan of the cinematic universe moving forward. First impressions, what do you...
Well, full disclosure, I hadn't seen the original Thor until last weekend as well.
Okay.
So I watched that before I went and saw The Dark World, and to be honest, it's probably one of my favorite leading into the Avengers of all of those films. I know that's probably not a popular opinion.
Well, I mean, it's also, again, it's interesting that Thor plays such a huge role in the Avengers because, I mean, the main antagonist, Loki, comes from the Thor universe, obviously.
Of all the films leading up into
He's
the Avengers, Thor was probably the most important one to watch.
Yeah.
And that's the one I didn't watch. So, but I fixed it this time around. Really like Thor. Thor the Dark World, I felt, is a little bit of a shadow of its first film, but I think it still is very fine.
So I actually thought that the first Thor was too small in a lot of ways.
That's what I liked about it.
This movie, though, feels like the stakes are much, much, much higher. I mean, really as high as they could possibly be because, if this Aether gets out, it will destroy the entire universe. So
yeah. Several worlds are at stake, not just ours.
Yeah, so from that perspective already, the stakes are much higher.
Mm-hmm.
I think the action's much better. I think that there's some just seriously cool stuff that they do in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 30 minutes or so is pretty much the closest thing you're gonna get to seeing Portal the movie.
Oh man, yeah, I was thinking about that left and right.
It's just awesome.
Yeah,
it's so fun and really funny. They really managed to weave the humor into some of the drama and all that stuff. So I think that was really cool.
That action set piece was so good. Like when they're fighting and they're just falling into one world and into the other.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing I thought that was really cool was the weapon that the Dark Elves used. It's it's almost like a black hole grenade. Like it creates like a little miniature singularity.
It's a very satisfying visual.
It's really cool. It's really cool. But okay, so let's talk about like the big moments in the movie. So Rene Russo dies.
Frigga, right?
Yeah, Frigga. She does. It's pretty sad. Thor
that was a pretty big emotional moment early on in the film, and it's exactly what Thor and Loki need to sort of progress their respective arcs.
Now it's funny because there was a couple of moments that I knew Loki was like messing with people. Specifically when Thor's arm gets cut off.
Did you feel deceived by that?
Deceived?
Yeah. I almost felt like we were seeing the new installment of what Mission Impossible 2 did, where everyone's wearing a mask. And because Loki is able to look like everyone, I just felt like it did it one too many times.
I don't know. I think that's kind of cool. I think it's cool that they can get inside your head like that and question what is real. And
they got a reaction.
And I mean, look, to a degree, there is something to be said for them overusing the parlor trick that Loki can pull off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that it definitely the filmmakers are totally using it to their advantage in terms of getting the audience to believe something and sort of twist the story around this thing that could in any other movie would be a major plot hole, but in this movie, because of the skills that Loki has, it's totally plausible.
Yeah. Now do we have to wait until Age of Ultron in 2015 or Thor 3 in 2016 to know what's going to be happening with Loki?
Now, which is fine, I think. I think he will play into other films because I think again, this movie, and I said this earlier, I think this movie speaks so much to the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the directions that it's going to take, because they're really now like Iron Man 3 sort of was like, the epilogue to Avengers.
Sure.
It's like here's New York, like all that stuff, all the wrap up stuff, dealing with the emotions of New York.
Mm-hmm.
This movie though doesn't even like scratch the surface of addressing that. They are just they've moved on, and it's really about seeing what else is out there.
Sure.
Which plays into the first post-credit scene,
right,
where we see
the Collector. Right?
The Collector, played by Benicio del Toro from Guardians of the Galaxy, which comes out next summer. So
yeah, so that was a nice little fan surprise. I didn't know what was going on at that moment, but I later learned, and I was like, okay, that's nice. That is tying everything together.
Yeah, so that was, I think that's really cool, and that's like, again, it's bridging the gap into another huge sort of tentpole movie.
It's amazing. The Marvel Universe, taking into account Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well.
Yeah, so there's actually going to be a tie-in episode with Thor: The Dark World on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, I'm excited for that. And here's my prediction on that.
I haven't been watching. I watched the first 2 episodes and I had to stop watching it.
Those are 2 of the weakest, so I honestly think it gets stronger from there. Yeah. But the post-credit sequence...
Yeah, was all for all you ladies out there.
Yeah, that first part definitely was. That was, getting all your hormones in order.
Yeah.
And then after that...
If you didn't see it, you want to know what happens. Thor comes back to London and sees Jane, and they just start making out.
Oh yeah.
And then there's just like a gratuitous shot of the big ice monster sort of romping through.
Right, which is where I believe the next Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode is going to come into effect. I mean, someone's got to stop that creature.
Very good point.
We'll see.
Very good
happens.
point. That's really interesting.
I don't know if that creature is in the show's budget, but we'll see. It'll be interesting.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll just follow a debris field and.
So, but overall, Thor 2 was satisfying.
Yeah, I was.
You were definitely satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
You got your money's worth.
Absolutely.
So that's our review of Thor: The Dark World. Be sure to subscribe and comment below. Let us know what you think. Did you like Thor? Do you want to see where it goes? I don't know. What do you think?
Absolutely. Let us know what you feel. And until next time, I'm JS.
And I'm Jimmy. Thanks for watching.